All right, so I've done a couple videos last month where I was talking about how I've been able to turn some deals around and, because of having an investor mindset going into the deal, right? So what is an investor mindset? Well, today I got Lonzie.
Hey.
He's the creative finance king. So we got him here today so we can talk about just that, like give you some ideas of what it looks like to have an investor mindset going into a deal as an agent. So we want to talk through like what the CashFlow Quadrant is and, different things like that. And we also are going to give you some examples, right? So Lonzie, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, of course, I'm Lonzie, and I've been doing a couple of flips, but I also have been dabbling into creative financing, which propelled my real estate investment a little bit more further. So we can get a little bit deep into that.
Yeah, okay, cool. So first we're gonna go into the cash flow quadrant so you can kind of understand what it looks like, right? So we're gonna talk a little bit about it, but first we want to talk about the cash flow quadrant so you can kind of get a picture of what that looks like, right? With the cash flow quadrant, it's a book. You probably should get it. It's really good to give you a lot of information. So the E is for employee. So that person is a person that goes to their job and they can't control what hours they work. They really can't control how far they go up in salary. It's based on what their boss will do, right? So you really don't have a lot of control when you're an employee, okay? So that's the first one. Lee, tell me a little bit about the next one.
Well, of course, the S quadrant is for like self-employed, right? So it's the people who really own a business, but they still working inside of it.
Yeah.
So whatever you don't kill, you don't eat, right? So it's it's definitely an active job. So this is where a lot of real estate agents find themselves.
So that's the one that I was trying my hardest to get out of for so long. So next we have the business quadrant where I've been trying to get to, right? So the business owner is where you own a system and people work for you, right? So you don't have to go out and kill. If you off a day, if you off a week, you still making money. You have people under them, right? And that under you, and that's really what it's about. So I finally made it to that quadrant. Woohoo! I'm so happy about that. It came with a lot of help from the Lord, getting me to where I could delegate more, and partnering me with Sparks, Lonzie's wife, to just put our systems together, and it just really helped me so much. So I'm grateful to be there. The Lord is faithful for sure. We'll be doing a class teaching other real estate agents how to build their career and turn their career into a business, and giving you all the goods, the systems, the VAs, all that stuff. So make sure you, you watch out for it and drop a comment if that's something you're interested in. So Lee, let's talk about the investor quadrant.
Okay. Just like the last quadrant, the I is for the investor quadrant. And in this quadrant, your money literally works for you. So basically, like flipping properties, or even if you are going into being a private lender and you got this money really working for you. And we found other ways to flip other people's money, even flipping paper, which is wholesaling. And we're going to teach that in one of the classes as well.
Yeah, so we'll for sure be teaching classes. So make sure you stay tuned. I want to talk to you a little bit about, me coming into the business as an investor first, but being caught up in being a realtor. So I had got my realtor hat on and I had forgot about being an investor. So I'm like letting opportunities pass me and all that. And it was crazy because when I wanted to invest, it was like 2008, 2009, properties were real low. And I'm like, I should go and invest. And my boyfriend at the time was like, nah, the market is crazy. Why would you want to invest? And that's what we say about being equally yoked. You want to make sure you got people that's going to encourage you and not pull you back. Because if I would have invested at that time, like I bought my personal home for $22,000 back then, and I ended up selling it for $155,000. Imagine if I would have bought other houses, that would have been a real come up,
Sure.
But, so I got off for a minute, but I'm back. So let's just talk about a few ways that we have went into properties as an agent, but end up turning into an investment opportunity. So Lee, you want to tell them a little bit about like one of the lease option deals you did?
For sure. I had an out-of-state person out in Texas. They reached out to me and they wanted to sell their property, but they couldn't sell it the traditional way. This was in 2020. And of course she had a mortgage. Her mortgage balance, it was $234,000. But the market back then, it was only probably about 240, 250. She couldn't sell the property the traditional way with all these realtor fees and everything else that goes into a traditional sale. So she reached out to me and she said, hey, Lonzie, I just want $6,000 to walk away from this property. What can you do? My monthly payment, it was like $2,200 or something. So what I ended up doing is I ended up doing a lease option deal on her property, which we cashed her out to $6,000. We took over her mortgage payments, which was still in her name. And then we ended up putting a tenant inside that property who ended up purchasing the property way above what we was intentionally gonna sell it for. I think that the tenant, they ended up buying the property for like $270,000. So we end up getting the middle spread of probably about 40 grand on that property. But long story short, we end up helping the lady out because she couldn't sell the traditional, and we did a lease option, which is 3 different checks on that same property.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The way to go. So the lease option is amazing because what did you do? Like, what was the rent? So you had the mortgage at $2,200. How much did you rent it for?
I think I rented it off to this tenant for probably about $2,800, and I ended up getting a cash flow that was directly to me.
Wow, so $500-$600 directly, and all you came out your pocket was $6,000?
Yeah. But the $6,000 we didn't have to put up front because the tenant buyer who actually came and gave us a deposit, we gave that cash directly to the seller.
Okay, so you got a check how much you charged them for the down payment?
Well, we charged that tenant buyer $10,000, so we ended up getting a $4,000 check, and then they continued to pay her more.
So the $4,000 check, and then you also got the $500-$600 a month. On top, at the end, you got the $40,000 gap.
Yeah, so it's it's definitely a 3 checks. Like,
wow, that's a win-win.
For sure.
And then you was able to help the person out.
Yeah, she ended up moving to California.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we had another deal we did where we bought the redemption rights, remember?
For sure.
Yeah, we had partnered together. He had a property in Flint, and they only wanted, what, $500 for that?
$500 to walk away.
$500
because they was losing it in foreclosure.
Yeah, so they was losing in foreclosure. They just needed money, cash for keys, really, to get out and get what they wanted to do. So we like, all right, you know. So we literally bought it for $500.
Yeah, we bought it for $500.
I think we put about $700 into it. Yeah, we put $700 into it, and then we end up selling it and making like $3,500 a piece.
It was a quick turnaround too. I think it was like 30 days.
30 days, you know. So just going into things with investor mindset, you know, we knew it needed a little bit of work, but shoot, all we did was paint it, put I think a linoleum floor in the kitchen. Some flooring in, and that was it. And we put it right back on the market. So it was pretty cool. We did that one, and then Lee, you want to tell them about one of the subject tools you did?
So yeah, of course, the subject to deal, it was one of my aunt's friends, was down in Atlanta. She reached out to me and she was asking me about, hey, this property might be going into foreclosure. So of course, as I kept looking into it, it was a pre-foreclosure deal, not a foreclosure. So I ended up helping her do a subject to deal on the property, which the mortgage was probably about $71,000. She was behind like $25,000. So we ended up paying the $25,000. End up taking over the property subject to the existing mortgage. And then my aunt, she ended up went and flipped the property. And when she flipped the property, she made over $164,000 on that property, which she wouldn't have made it if she didn't figure out how to actually stop the foreclosure process and doing the subject to deal on the property and then flipping it home.
Wow, so you was able to make her $164,000?
For sure.
Wow. So look, like it's so many ways that you can make money in real estate. And like I said before, if you an agent, you the plug for real.
For sure.
I mean, because you're the first one there. They're gonna call you and ask you what's going on. How can you help me? So I got another one where I was able to help a client. Now they were in foreclosure, right? And somebody offered them $2,000 redemption right to buy their redemption rights, kind of like we did the Flint property, right? And I'm like, you know, it's not enough room for me to give you more, honestly, but I can give you more on the back end. So I end up partnering with this person. So I partner with them. I got the paperwork and everything done, and I'm like, I'll do the repairs, and we split the profit, right? So that was sweet because we only had to put about $5,000 worth of work into it to get it to where it needed to go, put it on the market. And I think we had no money out of our pocket, absolutely no money out of our pocket. And we was able to make about 10-15 grand off that property, just like that.
I got a question.
Okay.
Right? So on that property, if you was to put the property on the market and sold it as a real estate agent, right, would have made the same profit that you would have made if y'all didn't go that route?
Let me tell you, I would have if I only did it as a real estate agent, I probably would have made, it was a $130,000 deal, so $3,900. I would have made $3,900 on it. But I made that $10,000 to $15,000, and I still charged them to sell it. I still charged them that $3,900.
So you got 2 checks.
I got 2 checks.
There you go.
So that, I mean, I'm telling you, you got to just go into properties thinking a different kind of way. I know we talked about wholesale before, but we wanted to just tell you a couple more strategies because the sky is the limit for real.
For sure.
With real estate, if you go into it with the right mindset, the sky's the limit. So you have to go into it thinking, what can I do? Creatively, like, oh, what can I do to get this property together? I had a property, it would have been a lick, but they bid me out. It was a property I was gone. I had it on the market, right? And the seller we found out we get to closing and find out that they lost it to Texas. I'm like, what in the world? So I'm like, I'm about to bat at the auction. I'm about to bat at the auction and sell it to that buyer. But they bid me out. You know, they had already bid me out. But that was another way. Like, I just think quickly, like, how can I make this work? You always got to think, how can I make this work? How can I help these people? Because if I would have bought it at the auction, I still would have gave the seller some money, the people that lost it, and they wouldn't have been able to make nothing. So we're not only making money for us, we're able to save people from hard situations, right? Foreclosure, when they lose somebody. Like, we've sold so many probate deals where they lost somebody and we went in and helped them with that, showed them how to fix it up, or bought it and fixed it up. You know, it's so many ways that we can help people, and that's the goal, is to help people, not just ourselves. We want to get a check too.
For sure.
But the goal is to help people and even show people how to build wealth through real estate. So we got a lot of classes coming up and coaching courses. We got our first one dropping December 3rd. We're going to put the link in the description, so make sure you check it out. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I drop new content.